Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Y'all, today we're talking about something that is so important. And so I'm really glad that you're joining me. And I'm going to make this a super interactive episode of the show. So I really want to ask you a lot of questions and I want you to answer me. If you're listening on the podcast, you're going to hear me asking the live audience to answer questions because I'm coming live in from StreamYard, going into my Facebook group, the Grow Your Business for Fitness Instructors, Trainers, and Coaches group, going live into LinkedIn at the same time, going live into my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kelly Coulter, all at the same time. So I'm going to be asking a lot of questions because I want to hear from you. It's going to be a super interactive show and I want to talk about these issues. Y'all, we all have trouble setting boundaries. So ensuring that what we have sold, we keep it to the appropriate amount of delivery time. Ensuring that clients are making progress without us having to hold their hand through every single little tiny solitary step of the process, right? Making sure that we are not burning ourselves out and that we are making the maximum amount of impact that we can possibly make with our audience without burning ourselves out. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about setting boundaries in order to get better results for ourselves and our business, our bottom line, our profitability, and for the client, whatever their goals are, whether you train clients to run marathons or improve a personal best or get stronger or lose weight or whatever it is, how do you get the maximum results without killing yourself in the process? So I want to hear from you. What does boundary setting mean to you? How have you done it in the past? I just messed with my hair and I made it worse. I always do that. Okay. So, how do you set boundaries? How have you set them in the past? What seems to work for you? What doesn't? Tell me about your boundaries. I want to hear all about it. Give me a hashtag live if you're watching live. Give me a hashtag replay if you are watching in the replay. And let's talk about boundaries. So, you guys, if you don't know who I am, I'm Kelly Coulter. In 2020, I became absolutely obsessed with helping fitness instructors and personal trainers to create profitable businesses. Because I was a fitness instructor since 1999. I was a fitness instructor. I was one of those fitness instructors that worked full time outside of the industry in order to afford to work in the industry. I grew a marketing firm from the time that I started my career until 2020. And in 2020, I gave all of that up to start coaching fitness instructors and personal trainers on creating businesses and making profits. So that's what I do full time. I help you guys create profitable businesses. Part of being profitable means that we have to set appropriate boundaries. And let's talk about why. So I see Diane here. She has answered my question. Blocking time on the calendar and sticking to it is what really enables her to create boundaries. And then also blocking off time that is not available to clients. Super important. Really good work. Thank you for that. I'd love to hear from everybody who is watching live. And also, if you're watching in the replay and you're on one of the social platforms, please put your comments in because future people will see them. I see them. I come back and check the comments, especially if you're asking questions. So come in, give us your best boundary setting techniques. So, what am I talking about when I talk about boundaries? So, when I talk about boundaries, I'm really talking about the idea that your clients get access to you in the most efficient way possible. So, I want you to give of yourself. I'm a really big believer that every single one of us has a special sauce. We are all creating very unique programs, even if you are, let's say, a weight loss coach, and there are a lot of those in the Grow Your Business for Fitness Instructors, Trainers, and Coaches group, of course. But every single one of us does it differently. And I'm a really big believer that there is someone out there that woke up this morning and their eyes popped open and they thought about the biggest problem that they've got right now, whether that's gaining weight or whether that is winning a race or whether that is knee pain, back pain, all of these things that we help our clients with. Their eyes popped open and they thought, how am I going to solve this problem? It is the number one biggest problem that they have. They are seeking a solution. They're desperate. And they are exactly the person that you need to help. So they are out there praying for the exact special sauce that you have to offer, because every one of us does it a little bit differently. So our job is to get out there and serve those people. Now, setting boundaries. Once you've brought somebody in as a paid client, how do you ensure that that transaction doesn't cause you to feel like you have to overserve or overcommit or be available 24 hours a day or give one-on-one coaching when they didn't contract you for one-on-one coaching? Boundaries are key in the coaching relationship for a lot of reasons. So I want to talk about two. I want to talk about why boundaries are important for you. And then I also want to talk about why boundaries are important for your client. Because without boundaries, your clients will not get their optimal results. So let's talk about it. Why boundaries are important for you first. You as the coach, you as the CEO of your own small business. Why are boundaries important? Number one, if you do not create boundaries within your business, your clients will eat you alive. And you will eat yourself alive, because we are all really well-intentioned servant leader hearts here. And so we tend to get out there and overserve whenever we've got the opportunity to. Without you placing your own boundaries on yourself for how much time and access you're going to give to your clients, you will, without knowing it, allow your clients to eat you alive, and it will limit the amount of impact you can have in this world. All right, so really important to put boundaries in place so that you know what you deliver to your clients, how much time you spend on it, and what you don't deliver to your clients. Otherwise, you're going to limit your impact in this world, because you will serve the same people way more than they need to be served. And then you won't be serving the clients that are out there praying to God for your help, woke up this morning, eyes popped open, and you don't get to them because you're busy serving the people who have already paid you, who should be taking an ownership of their own process. All right. It will limit your impact. That's the number one reason. It will limit your impact. It will limit your growth. Number two, if you are over delivering to the same clients over and over again, if you are giving too much personal access to yourself, if you are spending more time than is necessary with your clients, you are not going to be compensating yourself appropriate for the amount of time that you're spending on each client. So a lot of us set up our programs by looking at the steps that we want our people to go through. What transformation do we want them to have? What do we want them to have done during their time with us? And so we set up these steps and we know what we want them to do. And we figure out how much of our personal time is going to be invested in that, right? So I've seen a lot of people price their program that way. They're like, I'm worth $200 an hour. I think that I'm going to have to spend 6 hours with each person on top of the curriculum and everything else that I do with them. So my program is worth $1,200. I've seen people price like that. I don't know that it's exactly my favorite formula for pricing, but I see you guys do that a lot. If You tell yourself you have 6 hours with each client in order to get them that transformation that they are desiring on top of whatever curriculum that you've got out there. 6 hours one-on-one with each client, but then you actually end up spending more like 10 hours with each client. You just took yourself down to $120 an hour. So you just took 60% of your income away from yourself. Let me know if you've got questions about that. That's easy peasy math, right? I should just pull up a whiteboard here. Appropriate compensation for the time spent gets completely thrown off if you don't have boundaries in place. Leverageability. Now, this is key. When we talk about a profitable program, we often talk about leverageability. When you're working one-on-one, so when you're a personal trainer or when you are an instructor and you're showing up and you're teaching a class and you're leaving, the only way for your business to make more money is for you to add hours to the day, because your income potential is limited by the amount of hours that you work. We don't want that as business owners. We want a leverageable business. We want a scalable business. And the only way to make that happen is to leverage your time. And you leverage your time by using one-to-many. So that's like me right now going live and talking to all of you, one-to-many, and using live as well as recorded content in order to deliver your message. Now, we're not just talking about marketing, we're talking about delivery of your program. It has to be leveraged. Everything that you do has to be leveraged. If your work is not leveraged, it's not part of your program. The only time you should be doing non-leveraged work inside your business is when someone has paid you a premium for a premium level service. And I define a premium level service as something that can't be repeated. When you have to reinvent the wheel every time and you can't ever use that work that you did with that one client again, then it is not leveraged and you have to charge appropriately for that. That is not $200 an hour work now. That is like $500 an hour work. So let me give you some examples of premium versus leveraged. Premium would be when someone's asking you to drive to their house and work out with them. Or premium would be when someone asks you to spend 2 hours of your week every week to do a personal meal plan for them and give them a personal workout schedule. If you can't ever use that stuff again because this person is a vegan and they live on the farm and they've got access to, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. When you are catering to that person's very specific needs and you can't use that work over again, that's premium. When we build a program, we are not building a premium level program. We are building a program that serves a larger audience. Not everyone, we are all niched, but a larger audience. So a leveraged program is very different than a premium product. I want to make sure that we're clear on that. But if you sell 10 people your program, and then you don't create any boundaries around the ways in which they're going to access you and what times they're going to be able to talk to you and when they can send you a direct message, and you've got people messaging you at all hours of the day, or you're having to do 10 different workouts throughout the week for these 10 different people, you no longer have a leveraged program. So really important to set boundaries in order to force yourself into leveraging that work that you're doing. Okay, so if there are no boundaries in place, leverageability is impossible. And the last piece for you about boundaries is that if you've got clients accessing you at all hours of the day or night, if you're doing tons and tons of one-on-one work every single week, you are going to burn out. So we as coaches, as business owners, we've got a lot of hats that we already have to throw on throughout the week. We've got the CEO hat where we've got to make all the decisions. We've got to decide when we're doing our marketing events, what we're going to charge, what kind of people we want in the program. We've got the accountant hat on where we've got to go and look at our numbers and make sure everything makes sense and that everyone has paid us. We've got the coach hat where we've got to go out and deliver this service and get our clients results. If you don't have any boundaries around the coach time in your business, then coach time will eat up accountant time, CEO time, marketer time, all the other hats that you have to wear. So, really important that you create boundaries around your coach time, around the client access piece, so that you can have the appropriate amount of time as the CEO and the marketer and the accountant without burning out. Who here has dealt with burnout? I've been dealing with it a little bit over this summer because of some personal situations happening on top of work. And it is no fun. It is no joke. And it is hard to come back from. So we want to prevent burnout from the get-go by setting our time, our schedule, our systems up appropriately in the beginning. All right, y'all, is this helpful? Second thing I want to talk about, why setting up appropriate boundaries, healthy boundaries within your coaching relationship, why this is right for your client. Really important. Y'all, your clients are there to get a transformation. There is a thing that they hired you for. And sometimes we can get it in our head that they hired us and therefore we have to be like everything that they think we should be or that they're telling us that they think that we should be. And y'all, I'm here to tell you that your client is not always right. If you are managing expectations and communicating effectively, then the service that you provide will be enough. It's hard to say no to clients sometimes, but it is necessary. I want to talk about why unlimited access to you is wrong for your client. Number one, so I've done this actually. I have at times in my program offered unlimited one-on-one, or I've offered every other week where you get a one-on-one coaching meeting with me. So I'm really, really familiar with doing too much one-on-one with my clients because we all overserve. We are servant leaders. What I have found is that when you give too much one-on-one access to your clients who have purchased a leveraged program, that you end up disempowering them because they rely on that one-on-one time with you instead of relying on their own resourcefulness to get the answers and do the things that they need to do. So let me give you just a really specific example for how that works with business coaching, and then we can talk about how that works also with personal trainers. So with business coaching, a lot of times what I find is that when someone has a periodic one-on-one meeting with me, they stop looking at the curriculum. So now they're relying on this 20 minutes with me every other week in order to tell them exactly what to do. And they're not going into this wealth, this library, huge library of courses and worksheets and templates and scripts. And instead, they're just relying on this 20 minutes with me every other week to tell them exactly how to move forward. So one-on-ones, periodic one-on-ones, actually started to disempower my clients' results. So what I find is that one-on-one, too much one-on-one, doesn't allow them to foster their own autonomy and their own resourcefulness. And it disempowers them from really going through the process and owning their own results. So let me talk about how that would work with a personal trainer. I've seen a lot of you guys set up these offers where you might be like a nutritionist in the pocket. Have you guys ever considered doing this, or have you done this with your clients where you're like, for $600 a month, I will be on call to you 24/7. And when you're in the restaurant, you can send me a picture of the menu and I will tell you what to order. And when you are out at the bar, I'll tell you what to drink. And when you are at home, I'll tell you what to snack on. So we give them this like in the pocket access. What ends up happening is that they don't send you a picture of the menu when they're standing at the counter at McDonald's, right? So when they've got like a craving and they go out and they're going to just cheat their butts off, they're not going to send you that picture. They're just going to go it on their own. Like, oh, I don't need Coach in my pocket right now. But then when they're at the salad place, they'll be like, here's the menu. Which one do I order? The grilled chicken salad or the grilled shrimp salad? So what happens is that they are putting their autonomy, they're putting their decision making on you. And then when they don't want you, they don't put the decision making on you. So it's only when they're feeling good about it or when they want you. If you are just measuring their arms and their waist once every other week and giving them all of the information, now when they don't lose any inches, they can't go back and say, well, you told me to get the grilled chicken salad and I should have gotten the grilled shrimp salad. They know that they didn't use the information that you gave correctly. You can go back through their food journal. You can see the trips to McDonald's, They have to own that. So it's really important to foster a relationship where they see you as their guide and their mentor and their expert without them being able to place their thoughts on you and make you accountable for their results in that way. They need to be able to own their own results. That's the only way that we get true behavioral change from our clients. That is also the only way that, the thought just went out. I had a second there, but the thought went out, and that's okay. So when you limit the amount of one-on-one access that your clients have got to you, you foster their autonomy and you allow them to own their process and their own results. Here's the other piece of that. So a lot of us are doing higher end programs. So we charge appropriately for these programs. I don't like to say high ticket. We charge appropriately for these programs in order to allow them to place the right amount of importance and priority on the program. If we charge too little, they don't place enough priority on it. They don't take it seriously. When people pay, they pay attention. So that transaction starts the transformation because they place this large or appropriate amount of money on the table and they say, I am going to do this thing, darn it. And I see this all the time with business coaching clients. If I were to discount my program, if I were to allow someone to make low monthly payments on the program, they don't get as many results as the people who pay the whole amount up front. Because the people who pay the whole amount up front are committed to getting that $4,000 or $5,000 back. Whereas when there's a lower payment amount involved, it almost fosters the idea that I can drop out if I don't like it. I can drop out if I'm not feeling it. Make sense? So the transaction, that appropriate amount of money, starts the transformation, but it doesn't guarantee the transformation. They still have to show up and do the work. It's like if somebody walks into yoga class and stands on their mat, they don't get longer muscles, more flexible muscles, stronger muscles. They don't sweat if they don't do the work. So they got to show up, they got to place the priority, but then they've got to do the work. The transaction starts the transformation, but it does not guarantee the transformation. And you, as the coach, your job is to put the pressure on them. So you put the pressure on them by charging them the appropriate amount of money, and then you put the pressure on them by demanding that they do the steps, that they go through the process, that they do the work. And when you give them one-on-one time with you, when you give too much one-on-one time, they get lulled into a sense of, I had the meeting with the coach, and so I've done the work. And having the meeting with the coach is not the same as doing the work. You guys, where are you on this? How are you feeling about all this? I love this, Jules. I'm going to put it on the screen. So Jules says that a lot of times when people find out she's a yoga teacher, they'll ask for the asanas that will help them with whatever their issue is, like back pain or knee pain. And then she used to be like, oh yeah, do this and then that, and maybe do this little warm up. But now she just says, here is when I teach. I can give you more when we're in class. And then also I'm going to suggest that you schedule a private with me. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's so good. There's this joke somebody told me one time, and it's about a lawyer and a personal trainer, and they're sitting at a bar, and the lawyer says, oh, you're a personal trainer. Oh my gosh, my back has been hurting me. I feel like I'm on my feet too much, and I'm doing this and that. And it hurts right here. And the personal trainer says, oh my gosh, here's what you need to do. He writes out like this whole workout plan on a napkin, right? And the lawyer's like, oh my gosh, thanks so much. I'll do that. And the personal trainer says, great. And then the personal trainer says, well, by the way, my dad died last year and I'm having some estate planning issues or some probate issues or whatever. I'd love to ask you about those. And the lawyer says, great, pulls out his card, hands it to him, says, make an appointment with me. I'm $3.50 an hour. We are such servant leaders as fitness pros, as health coaches. We want to see everyone feel good like we do. And so we tend to overgive. The problem, again, back to boundaries right here. The problem is that when they don't commit, when they don't make that priority by making the transaction, they are never going to get the results. So that lawyer is going to take that napkin and he's going to throw it in the trash. He's never going to do it. But when that back pain is bad enough for him to go plop down an appropriate amount of money with the personal trainer, now he will take it seriously. He will do the exercises and he will get the results. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about is a few tips for setting boundaries. How do we set healthy boundaries? How do we ensure that we are not giving away too much, but that they are getting results? And I've got three major pieces here that I want you to kind of flesh out. So if you're taking notes, you can write these down, like one at the top of your page, one at the middle, and one at the bottom. The first one is a library, a leveraged library. We're going to talk about that in a second. The second is accountability. And then the third is intentional one-on-one access. All right, so library, accountability, intentional one-on-one access. So let's talk about your library. Nobody here, if you have a leveraged program, nobody here should be relying completely on live videos. So I do want you to deliver live videos. I want you to do that in a way that feeds your soul. I want you to do that in a way that feels good to you, that feels like you're getting them results. But I want there to be a balance. And so I want you to also have recorded video available so that if you need to take a sick day, you're able to do that. So that if people need to miss class, they can come back in and get what they need. So that if you need to assign extra work, you've got videos that you're able to assign. So it's really important that you have a library. Now, of course, if you've ever done the accelerator with me, you have planned out a series of steps that you want your clients to go through, most likely, and you've got an entire curriculum of videos, and that's really appropriate too. But I want you to know that part of your program, I hate the word should, but I'm going to say it. Part of your program should include a library of videos in some way. That's your safety net, even if you do most of your delivery live. And I also want you to encourage you to do less live delivery and go ahead and depend on those videos a little bit more for the delivery of your program. Sometimes we think that our workouts have to be new every single time. And then if you really go back and you look at like the workouts that you do yourself, you're like, wait a minute. I do the same Les Mills flow yoga class like every week. I have a favorite video on Les Mills yoga and I do it every single week. And then I sprinkle in some others. But I like having videos that I can repeat. And your clients are the same way. They'll have things that they like about it, they'll have things that they dislike about it, but they will have their favorites in terms of workouts. Now, lessons should be recorded. Lessons need to be recorded because if you are relying on yourself to teach the steps to individuals every time they come through your program, you are undoubtedly going to miss something. You are undoubtedly going to teach it well one day and not well the next day. You are undoubtedly going to get burned out on repeating yourself over and over again. It's much better to have a video of you teaching that thing well one time, and then you just direct your clients to it at the appropriate time. So I want you to have a library for lessons. And I also, if you are delivering workouts, I want you to have a library of workouts. And I want you to really consider how many live workouts you need to be doing with your group every week versus how much can you rely on them doing recorded workouts. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then Jules said, if you don't have a website, what's the best program for your library? Is it Teachables or something else? I've got a great one for you. I like Facebook groups and I like to put the videos into the guides section. So Facebook groups actually are built for delivering stuff like this. Leveraged programs work really well in a private Facebook group. So you can take all of your paid clients, you can put them into a Facebook group, and then you can just show them where the guides are and you can store all your videos in the guides. Now, what that won't do is it won't allow you to sprinkle the videos out. Like if you're wanting to email the videos at a certain time, like let's say, okay, once you've been in my program for 2 weeks, you should do this video and this video. Facebook isn't going to be the program that will drip those videos out or anything like that. You're not going to have higher level functionality, but I like Facebook groups for like your first and second cohort of your group. And then after that, if you want to go to something more complicated, that's great. Teachables is great. I used Kajabi for a long time. I just switched over to High Level, which is something a lot of coaches are switching over to because it allows you to manage your customers and your payments and your email and your course all in one place. So it's called High Level. And that's another option. All right. So thank you for that question, Jules. Great question. So I want you to have a library because it will help you to leverage your time. You won't even know the amount of time that you save by having a library of videos. You just will know that you're able to move faster, more confidently, with better results. Okay. Number 2, incorporate accountability. So I just told you, I want you to have a library of workouts out there so that if you need to miss a day, or I want you to depend on leveraging your time by using recordings. But your people want accountability. People are really tired of buying a course and then just being left to their own devices. I think that one of the healthiest things that you can do when you are starting to sell your program is look at where can you add personal accountability without it being these 20-minute one-on-one check-ins, or with only having a very limited number of one-on-one check-ins. So you can incorporate accountability in a few ways. Number 1 is incentives. So if you've got ways that you can watch your clients go through the steps in your program, then you can incentivize them by saying, okay, once you have finished steps 1 through 3, I'm going to have a one-on-one meeting with you. Or once you finish steps 1 through 3, then you get access to this second part, this higher level part. You can incentivize their progress and keep them accountable by incentivizing. You can use time containers. So you have only got 3 weeks to get through steps 1 through 3. After that, those are going to go away, and I expect you to have done them. Or you've got 3 weeks to get through steps 1 through 3, and then I'm going to meet with you one-on-one, and I'm going to give you a quiz, or I'm just going to give you a quiz and not meet with you one-on-one. Whatever it is, time containers are really valuable for keeping people accountable. And then the third that I wrote down, and you guys may have a lot more suggestions, please put them in the comments. The last thing that I wrote down is celebrations. So when we celebrate with our clients, we motivate them. When we celebrate with our clients in a group setting, when we put it out there that Terry got to this milestone, it motivates the entire group because it shows them that people are getting the results, and it takes away their excuses. So really important, incorporate accountability and do it in a way that limits your one-on-one. Okay, so then the third thing that I wrote down was intentional one-on-one. And what I mean by that is that I do want you to be available. I don't think that most of us are at the place where we can just completely remove ourselves from being available to our clients and just do everything via recording or leveraged video or accountability and incentivizing and all that. Your clients are buying for access to you, and you need to give them access to you. So intentional one-on-one access means that you've got boundaries around it, that you're not answering direct messages over the weekend. You're not giving them your cell phone number. They don't have your address. They don't have your phone, your home phone number. Who has a home phone here still? Anybody? Anybody have a landline in their house? All right. So when you give them too much access, you foster dependency. We don't want dependent clients. We want independent clients who take ownership of their own results and get resourceful when they're not where they want to be. So in order to do that, intentional boundaries around the one-on-one access. If you are doing check-ins, like let's say monthly check-ins with your people, give them the parameters Tell them, okay, month 1, we are going to discuss XYZ. I expect you to have done XYZ. If they paid you an appropriate amount and put a priority on it, when they get to that month 1 check-in, you better believe they will have done the things that you told them to do. If they haven't, this is your time to put pressure on them. This is your time to get uncomfortable and be the coach. This is where you will really shine and you will really make a difference in their lives, but only if you do put that appropriate amount of pressure on them. So, intentional one-on-one check-ins. I'm not suggesting that you have to have a monthly one-on-one with your people. I think there are a lot of different ways to do that. I think you can do it via milestones that they achieve in your program. I think you can do it just on request or when somebody is not making progress. I know Brent Cromer that has come live in our group before. He owns Closers for Fitness. In their program, they have to report their numbers. And we do this in the SST as well, which is my higher level cohort after the accelerator. So they have to report their numbers. And then a coach is actually looking at their numbers every single week. And they actually have a management meeting where they take everybody's numbers and they plot them out on a spreadsheet. And they're looking at the progress that everyone's making. And then the outliers will stand out right away. So it'll be like, well, Diane hasn't made a sale in 2 weeks. I wonder what's going on with her. And so somebody will contact her and have some one-on-one time with her and find out why there hasn't been a sale in 2 weeks. So I love that method as well. I would call that like a dashboard method where you're just watching people's numbers because they're reporting them. And then if they're not reporting or they're not making progress, then you're going in and you're triaging. Dashboard and triage, that's what we'll call that. That's going to be one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself that will allow you to leverage your time and avoid burnout. Also, leave enough time for the other roles that you have to play in your business outside of just being coach. Okay. You guys, what questions do you have about that? So, supply a library. Make sure you have incorporated some accountability into your program, and then have intentional one-on-one access to you versus willy-nilly whenever they feel like it, one-on-one access to you. Also, have days that you don't answer DMs or emails or anything. Give yourself a break. Okay, y'all. So that's what I have got for you. I went a little bit longer than I normally do. I hope this was really useful to you. You guys, hey, give me a hashtag helpful or a hashtag awesome if this was helpful to you. I would love to hear from you. And then I'm trying to think of what announcements I want to give to you guys. I'm super casual over the summer, as you can see. Right now, we are not really doing any selling into the accelerator. So you don't hear me talking about that a lot because we're kind of reformulating a whole bunch of things. If you are really ready for some coaching, if you need some support, if you're ready to take it to the next level, I've got options for you. So make sure that you direct message me and let's have a conversation. I've still got the Serve Lead Sell Masterclass, which is freaking amazing. People get so much results, life-changing results from that 3-day masterclass. I'm also, I can direct you to Brent and get you on his schedule if you are looking to dig in on your sales skills. So still all kinds of progress to be made for all of us, even during July. Don't forget, September is coming, so be ready. All right. Y'all, if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you're in the Grow Your Business for Fitness Instructors, Trainers, and Coaches group on Facebook. If you're watching on LinkedIn, come over to Facebook and join that group because that is where I do all of my nurturing. That's the primary place where I do my nurturing. And then if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you press the little button so you get the notifications every time I go live. If you're watching on if you're listening through the podcast, please Also, make sure that you subscribe. I love seeing those subscriber numbers go up and those download numbers go up. All right, y'all, that is what I've got for you. And I do have one more announcement. Next week, this is huge, actually. Christine Conti, who just won Fitness Instructor of the Year at the IDEA World Convention in LA last week, is coming on. This will be her first big public appearance since she won that award. And she's going to talk about the road to Fitness Instructor of the Year. So she's going to tell us all about that process. She's going to tell us about how she has gotten help and support from different people in the industry, how she plans to pay it forward, and what she plans to do with that exposure and notoriety from being Fitness Instructor of the Year. So I'm super excited to have her. She's always so fun. Love her to death. And she's going to be on the show next week. And that's what we'll talk about is the road to Fitness Instructor of the Year. And it'll be a really good time. So you guys, that's what I've got for you. I will see you next week.